Now I have a bone to pick with you about the Big Ten tournament with Michigan beating Purdue. But before we get to that, let's talk about the start of these conference tournaments and Cleveland State. Looking pretty good so far.
So far, they're in the semifinals of the Horizon League tournament. They play Oakland. It's not a good matchup for them, but neither was Northern Kentucky. But Oakland's a little different. It'll be interesting to see how they play out. I mean, that's what conference tournaments are about. These teams that are able to kind of step up and get a couple upsets. You know, teams that are favored tighten up. Teams that have, you know, nothing to really play for, so to speak, other than the joy of pulling an upset, you know, and often that's what's happened. That's what you don't see in the big tournaments, you know. Those guys, they're playing for seeding. There's very few teams in those tournaments playing for a real shot in the NCAA.
So what happened? They didn't have a good regular season, and then all of a sudden,
new coaching, new regime, new philosophy, new template. You know, it takes, people think that you just roll out the ball and play, but it doesn't go like that. It takes a while to build a foundation, and he's got a pretty good template of what he wants to do. Dennis-Felton, the coach at Cleveland State. So if you know, I've seen him over the course of the year. You could see they're getting better. And now it's just a matter of talent, getting the talent in there to be a top-tier team in that conference.
Well, Michigan wins the Big Ten tournament 2 years in a row. But, I mean, the NCAA tournament doesn't start for another 12 to 13 days. You know, isn't that too early to have a tournament?
Well, obviously it's not, because Cleveland State, for example, is in one. The Horizon League has their tournament. The West Coast Conference, where Gonzaga and St. Mary play, they've had their tournament like that for years. And in fact, Gonzaga is not uncommon. I haven't checked the schedules, but it's not uncommon for Gonzaga and or St. Mary's to schedule another game after their conference tournament.
Really?
Just so they can you know, stay sharp in preparation for the NCAA tournament. So that's not unusual at all. Again, I haven't checked the schedules to see if they did it this year, but one or both of them have done that in the past. So I mean, there's 32 conference tournaments. You can't get them all in 1 week. So, you know, TV won't allow that. So there has to be some ability to spread it out. But there's ways to get around it. I think it's going to be good for Michigan, frankly, because, you know, now they get to exhale a minute. They're out of conference play. They get a chance to kind of get their bodies back and rejuvenate. Particularly, you know, different coaches is different things, but under Beeline, I think that's a good thing. I'd be shocked if they don't at least make the Sweet 16 and maybe even the Elite 8.